Okay, thank you very much. Our next ICSC+PROPTECH demo is with STRATAFOLIO, and we have our presenter, Jeri Frank, CEO, founder, and CEO. Whenever you're ready, take it away.
Can you hear me? All right, excellent. Every commercial real estate owner knows the big expenses that come with commercial real estate: debt service, insurance, taxes, and repairs. But some of the most expensive problems are much quieter. A missed lease escalation, CAM reconciliation that has an error or took too long, a tenant COI that was expired without anyone noticing. STRATAFOLIO helps commercial real estate owners using QuickBooks replace manual tracking with control, accuracy, and confidence. It's about protecting income before it leaks out. My name is Jeri Frank, and I'm co-founder and CEO of STRATAFOLIO. The problem is not that teams are careless. The problem is that the systems ask people to remember way too much. Spreadsheets, email reminders, calendar entries, folders, disconnected QuickBooks files. Every one of these things creates little gaps. One missed renewal date, one broken formula, one person who was out of the office when you needed their information, one expired COI. Across a portfolio, those little gaps become financial leaks. STRATAFOLIO is designed to close those gaps that manual tools leave open. Manual tracking feels free because nobody sees that invoice on day one. The invoice comes later. It comes in the form of a missed lease escalation that never made it to an invoice or was never invoiced. It comes as hours of CAM cleanup come at a critical time at the start of the year. It comes in the form of a tenant dispute that should have been prevented. Owners do not need better spreadsheets. They need operational control. QuickBooks is not the villain here. QuickBooks is a fantastic accounting system. It's easy to find people who know and understand QuickBooks. Lots of accountants use QuickBooks at tax time, but it was never made to house and manage commercial real estate. It doesn't handle specific things like tenant pro rata share, or which leases require CAM reconciliation. When does that rent increase? Which COI is expiring? STRATAFOLIO closes that gap. The point is not to replace QuickBooks. The point is to give QuickBooks-powered commercial real estate teams control so that they can manage their portfolio. You can think of STRATAFOLIO as that operational control layer. Lease data, QuickBooks data, tenant activity, invoices, ACH payments, and tracking operating expenses all throughout the year. All of these things need to work together in harmony. STRATAFOLIO helps save over 80% of manual effort because of our one-click CAM reconciliation, AI and machine learning to support COI management, and connecting the invoice and payment workflow. Lease escalations are one of the cleanest return on investment stories that we share because the revenue is already in the lease. You negotiated it. You earned it. The only question is whether your process remembers to invoice it. With this feature alone, our clients are seeing more than a full return on investment, averaging 110% ROI. STRATAFOLIO helps keep teams track key dates and convert lease language into real action. That's revenue control. And now CAM. CAM is where time, money, and tenant trust collide. The manual process is this forensic investigation. You export from QuickBooks, you look at last year's spreadsheets, you go back to the lease, you see what everyone remembers throughout the year, you're checking formulas, you're redoing things, and in the end, it takes a lot of time at a critical time in the year. STRATAFOLIO changes that motion. It pulls the financial data directly from QuickBooks, and we spread those expenses pro rata share across all of the tenants that are in that building according to the specific rules of their leases. The outcome is not just faster reconciliation, it's fewer questions, more confidence, and less end-of-year chaos. And everyone on your team gets the same results. Now, COIs are easy to overlook because they look like paperwork, and in fact, it is the most common information that we receive from clients that is outdated. So we support COI management with AI and machine learning, and that helps reduce manual review, and it keeps teams aware of where things are about to expire or which items are missing. So pair that with this lease management, and it gives your operators one place to see all of their obligations before they become a problem. So getting charges right is really only half the battle. Getting them invoiced and paid efficiently, that matters too. STRATAFOLIO helps teams create invoice across QuickBooks integrations in just a few clicks without duplicate entry. Tenants can use portals to make one-time payments or reoccurring ACH payments. And the tenants are paying the correct amount. They're not paying last month's rent escalation or last year's rent escalation. So the tenants can use portals to make ACH payments. So there's fewer emails, less collection issues, and a clear workflow from beginning to end. And all that means is money in the door faster. This is a strategic shift. STRATAFOLIO is not just saving clicks, it changes how that business runs. Manual becomes automated, scattered data becomes a centralized control, risk becomes visibility, slow workflows become faster decisions. Once your lease, tenant, QuickBooks, and all of that data is working together, teams stop reacting to problems and they start preventing them. So if you are using QuickBooks and managing commercial real estate, the question is really simple. Where are you still using manual processes? I would love to share and understand what you're still doing, and we can show you how you can take control of your commercial real estate portfolio. And you can run your portfolio with much more confidence. Let's take some time to schedule a demo. Thank you.